Hello, this is Dr. Lovely, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to show you how to make a bot on RuneScape using Pullover Macro Maker. It's pretty simple, nothing too complicated, and I think most people will be able to do it. It is a really good way to make XP and money. The one that I'm going to be showing you is just going to be a mine and drop bot, so it's pretty simple. To get started, we're just going to want to use this right here, which is a image pixel search, and if you can't find it here, you can go to commands and you can go to find commands and just type in search to this bar and you'll see it right here, pixel search. So we're going to want to search around our area. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to mine, and then in the next episode I'm going to show you how to drop. So you can look at what you need. So this one's going to be mining, next one's going to be dropping, and then possibly after that will be banking, which is a little bit more complicated, but we'll be able to pass that bridge whenever we get there. So it depends on how you want to mine. Because of this right here, we don't want to mine this entire area. We just want to mine one spot. So we're just going to pick this little area right here. And now that we have that area selected, we're going to pick and we're going to another bot is mining here, but we want to pick this color. So it'll search for that color and then it'll save it to this variable location, which we're going to call or X or Y. So now whenever it finds that color, it'll have a place that we can find it. So now we're going to go to move and we're going to put into the location the variable that we saved. So or X in the X position and or Y into the Y position. Now it's very important that we put these little parenthesis signs here, because if we don't put the parenthesis signs there, then it won't know that it's looking for a variable and it'll just put you at 0, 0 because it's looking for letters as opposed to numbers. So important things. So now if we were to run it, which right now there's really no good way to run it other than pressing the button that you have assigned, but if you come here you can go to record macro and it will pop up a little playlist. Now you may be thinking to yourself, oh, that sucks because now you can't edit your macro anymore. But if you click this button right here, it'll bring up the entire thing once again so you can edit and play at the same time. So whenever you want to run your macro, make sure that you click on the window that you want to run your macro on before you do anything. So let's just go ahead and click that, click play, and as you see, moves right to the 10 area. Now, that looks a little bot-like. It's always going to go to the same spot because it's looking for a specific pixel color, and if you don't move your screen, it will always be in that pixel will always be in that one location. So we will need to throw in a little bit of randomness, and what better function to do that than the random function. This lets us assign values to random values to a variable in between a minimum and maximum set. So first thing is we want some variable names so we know what we're doing. We're just going to set these variable names like so, rand x and rand y, so that we know what to type in. So we're going to want about a -5 and a 5 max, so this will give us a 10 range, and whenever we do both of them that way, that gives us 100 possible pixel combinations. You can go a little bit more, a little bit less. The more, the better. But it just depends on accuracy. So as you saw with this being here, um, sometimes this is one of the downsides of pullover, is that it's not the most well optimized. So sometimes it just crashes, but I promise you it's totally worth it. So like I was saying, let's get that back up. So let's get that back up. No? Let's just save this real quick. So let's open that back up. Okay, there we go. So as you see, it goes to the same spot every time. if I don't move my mouse. So we want to randomize that a little bit. So as you can see, it's pretty much at the top of the OR, so you could go a little bit more, a little bit less on your Y variable, so you'll move more this way and more this way. You want to put a little bit more this way, which is going to be in the positive direction because the the counting goes, this is 0 and uh, this is whatever your dimensions are, and this is 0 and that's your dimension, so it goes that way. So negative is the one you kind of want to go with on your Y. So now we're going to move into the randomness direction. So we're going to go relative, because that means we're moving relative to where we are currently located. So as opposed to going to, -5, -5, which would be somewhere over here, it'll give us random, because it'll just add that on to the last movement. So now, if we click here and we run this, well, first and run this, you see it's hard to see, but there's a little bit of movement, just the smallest amount. If we were to increase this a little bit, so this is a good way of testing. You can just increase the variable numbers a little bit. Sometimes you can go like really high, so that will allow you to see exactly what you're doing. You're seeing the major extent of what's going on in your code. So that's much more visible on what you're doing. So now we have choices. We can either right click and mine, or we can just click. With the way this is set up, we should always be inside of the bounds here. So we can just go ahead and throw a click down, and that should click on the OR and start to mine it. Now we want to throw a little bit of a wait in there so we don't just click immediately, because that has a chance of breaking your code and you don't want that to happen. So now that that's all set up, we want to click back here and we want to let it run. Now this wait right here, you want this wait to be a little bit longer. Now if you're running like OS Buddy or RuneLite, sometimes there's a little box here that says you are currently mining, or you are not currently mining. In that case, you can scan for a pixel. But I'm just talking about old school RuneScape, and unfortunately, there's no real way to know whenever you stop mining. So, unfortunately, that means you just have to wait for yourself to get done mining. Now, we want that wait. On average, it should be under 10 seconds, but if you set it at 5 seconds, there's no harm of doing that, because what's going to happen is you're going to scan for that mine, and you're going to wait for that 5 seconds. And if you haven't finished mining it yet, you'll just click it again and you start mining again. No big deal, and everything's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now we have choices of, we can just loop this and have a complete code, and it'll loop until the inventory's full. Now what we want to do is we want to check this very last spot right here in this inventory for any item, and that's how it'll know when to stop. So we want to set our box to that little area right there. Maybe we want to do a little bit tighter. Make sure you don't get any of the items around it. And then we want to scan for the pixel right there. So now, this search, the only purpose of this search is to exit the loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our loop now. And we're going to put our loop at the start, and we're going to loop it an infinite number of times. And what's going to happen is, if that pixel is found there, the loop should stop. And you see it here waiting, waiting at 10. Oh, it's looped. It's looped again. Okay, so that's not working. Give me 1 second while I figure this out. Okay, so I found a solution, and it's through labels. Now, labels are pretty bad coding practice, I've heard, so you don't want to get used to using them, but for this bot, it should be fine. So basically, you're going to go search up a label. We're going to go label, and we're going to add a label, and we're going to go with an exit label. So we're going to move this exit label right here, and that label is going to be at the end. And if this is found, we are going to go to, which is another command, go to label, and we're going to go to this exit label if that is found, which should, in theory, exit the loop. So we click, we wait, we're waiting at 10, as you can see right down there. Now we exit, now we go to 13, which is an exit, and that stops. You can see that it's on a play now, which means it has successfully went to the 17 and stopped the running of the code. So obviously, now all we do is what we're going to do is we're going to click here and we're going to mine this until we get a full inventory. And this should just keep looping and looping and yep, that's all up to code. So we're just going to let this run until we get that that max inventory. And there you go. That's a full inventory of whatever you're mining. The great thing about this type of pixel bot is that if, say you want to mine something other than 10, which I'm mining just for the fact that it's here, you just want to come over somewhere else, right? And since you have your box around your character, it's the exact same thing. So you just want to come here and you want to change the color you're searching for. Boom, done. So let's drop one of these pieces of iron. 10. See if we can steal one of these irons real fast. Okay, and now, so we want to now scan our inventory for that instead. So now whenever that's located as opposed to the 10, it'll stop. So whenever we run this code, let's drop another piece of tin. We'll keep scanning, we'll click on the iron, now we're mining iron. Obviously this one's a little bit harder because everyone wants to mine iron, but it's the fact that it's possible. This is something that you can do. So that's all for this video. The next video should be posted sometime in the future, and I will put links to Pullover's Macro Maker in the description. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!